And our next short presentation is by Professor Piero Baglioni, who was the coordinator of the GREENART project. Just a few words about Professor Baglioni. He's full professor of physical chemistry and lecturer of physical chemistry of dispersed systems and interfaces at the Department of Chemistry of the University of Florence. Over to you, Piero.
Okay. Where is the...
Just next.
All together. Okay, so, well, thanks for taking me here. And actually, I need to thank you for your talk, because you already report on many points and ideas that are in my talk. I won't be good like you, because you gave a good presentation. So I want to start from a different point of view. So suppose you're not conservator here, and you don't know anything about conservation. So this is a talk that tries to address to normal people why they should invest in cultural heritage. So it's a different way of giving the same, say, problems. So I want to start with this. This is from Maria Gabriel that you mentioned. So, and she said 4, 5, probably 6 years ago that Europe is a mosaic of culture, and our exceptional diversity is precious, and we have the responsibility to pass it to the generation to come. So this is what was 6 years ago, and the rest of the world at that time didn't care at all about cultural heritage and how we can use and we can implement, say, what is in the cultural heritage, what can we use from cultural heritage, why is important. So this year, for the first time, there will be the 150th anniversary of the American Chemical Society, and this will be in Chicago. And for the first time in the American science, I mean official, say, STEM science in the United States, there will be a program dedicated to art. And they start saying that future has passed, and then the session will be chemistry behind art and art conservation. This just to say what? To say that they realize that you can make money, not only, say, science, but you can use art and you can use conservation in a different way. So I'm a scientist, and I'm a physical chemist, mainly in neutron scattering and synchrotron radiation, even if, where is the guy? I don't remember. The synchrotron guy, where is the... is there. And no, he's over there, because he's a Soleil guy, but I never use his say, system. I use different. So I say... we can say, what is the importance for us that are scientists for art conservation? For me, is material. So when I see Michelangelo, I see the composition of Sistina Chapel, pigments, colors, and so on. But this is what scientists feel, and this is actually completely different from SSH, the other counterparts say, they see something different. So I'm a scientist, and then what you have to see from, if you analyze the matter, you say that art enhance social inclusion and cohesion. There's intercultural dialogue involved in the fingerprint of art and art conservation. And then it improves, as you say, the living environment. But there's also another aspect which is related to tourism. And for example, this is never considered, especially by politicians. But tourism is a lot important, because there's cultural tourism that is about 10% of the European GDP, which is not a secondary aspect. And then about 12% of the work labor comes from cultural tourism. And for example, another aspect that is for rich people. Rich people invest about 70 billion euro in art fair and auction. So, I mean, Louis Vuitton, I say Louis Vuitton, the brand name, but not the guy. So they have 7, 10, I don't remember, I guess 10 billion euro in art asset. So for them, it's like to have bonds. I mean, it's the same. So why I'm saying this? Because if you want to sell art, you have to sell in different way. So, for example, if you go to Sistina Chapel, or if you come to Florence, I invite you in Florence. I'm Venice. Venice, I like Venice more than Florence, but anyway, if you go to Galleria Borghese in Rome, which is one of the most beautiful gallery, in my opinion, in the world, or if you visit the Pantheon, which I like very much, some people say experience very strong emotion, rapid heart rate, dizziness, fainting, and confusion. This is something that was a long time ago, I mean 250 years ago, experienced for the first time by Stendhal when he went to Florence and he visited Santa Croce Church. And this is called Stendhal syndrome or Florence syndrome. This Florence, not because it was in Florence, because in Florence there's the larger number of these events that been until now. So this is occurs only if you're in a material environment. You have to see the work, you have to touch maybe the work. Otherwise, you don't have these syndromes. So this is important because this tells you that art is material and must be material, and you have to protect this fingerprint, this material. If you cannot do by AI, I mean, you cannot do in different way. You must have the materiality of the object. Okay, so now let's think another point of view. So Europe is in bad shape right now. Okay, is in need of strengthening its cultural heritage, identity, sorry, because there's lots of confusion and uncertainty due to the transformation that we have, especially now in global policy, because every 50 minutes we have a different global policy, so it's different to address this point. Europe must recover a unique cultural identity to foster regrow in the future. If Europe wants to grow, now we are not growing, but we have to regrow and regrow in different ways. So there's a different political aspect. There's people that say that you have degrow, but we are saying that you have regrow, grow, but in different way, not degrow, because degrow means that everybody is poor then, and then it's something that we don't want. And what we have now, we have a patrimony, we have a fingerprint on shaping policy and evolution, but the problem is that also other countries have this. Why? Because China actually, India and Brazil are much faster growing than us, and especially China, they are investing a lot in art and in materials related to art. They're investing a lot. Just an example, for the past 50 years of my lifetime, I mean, I've never been to China. And last year, I've been to China 5-6 times. So they're importing knowledge easily because so what is the major challenge that Europe is facing? The problem for Europe is to put its vast, unique historical, cultural background in the context of the current technological and social transformation. So we have a very fast transformation, and there's a dislocation that separates the field of cultural heritage from the field of technological and then the social transformation. So if we use this background and we can implement we have a background that can be a tool for resilient regrowth. So the problem is now, key question. And this question actually I discussed because I don't know if Irina is in this room yet, okay? She sent me in Tartu, and it was a nice experience I had in Tartu, to a meeting of CCI, I mean, the cultural industry, and I had really fun because they're thinking in completely different way of myself. I mean, I was in other world with 1 minute. It can be 2 minutes, maybe. I cannot finish in 1 minute. And so the key question is how we can address this. And the second is how we can interact with people that from cultural and creative sectors and other to increase resilience. So there's material science, give some sustainable materials, methodology with no CO2 emission, and enhanced properties that are resilient to climate change and materials aging. So he was showing, Herman was showing that the climate is very, say, effective in degradation of works of art. But we can use coatings that can, protect from increase of, water flow or increase of temperature by up to 5 centigrade. So we can protect them. And, okay, so let's go. The fact that art is made by materials and that can be the safeguard and the future of the field can be related to the interest, the intersection with the other field of human knowledge and human, say, industry, so production, was very well received in Osaka. When I went to Osaka for EU, and in Osaka, actually, we presented something that was from one project dedicated to, that was used then by 2 companies, that 2 Japanese companies. And this was the effect. It was extremely, they were very, I was very surprised because mainly young people were in this booth, in the European booth, playing with these tools. They didn't know exactly what they were, but they play a lot, and that they like too much. I would say too much because... So what we can propose, if we want to maintain the materiality of our cultural identity, we have to work with others, and we have to address bureaucratic barriers and to foster sustainability regrow through culture. But to do this, we have to create a CAT. So CAT is a key enabling technology because a CAT connects to the rest of our world, connect with science and technology. I call CAT, but can be another, you can call it in a different way. So CAT is something like that. Cultural heritage is restoring, preserving, monitoring, managing, and living. And this is connected to CAT. So these are the most important CATs we have, is chemistry and materials, analysis, characterization, environment, climate, digital, and so on. But also they are connected with industry sectors. So if you move cultural heritage from the cultural heritage field into the general field of science, then you have a larger improvement, larger possibility to cooperate, and I finish, and, oh, it's not too much, I mean. and have different kind of resources. So the recommendation are, that comes from our project, 20 seconds. So we had the chance to have all these 4 projects, one after the other one. And this was very, I need to thank the Commission, but this was pretty useful because this tells us how should grants, how should projects be funded by EU. Because if you don't have sequence of project, you lose the information after you finish a project. So in the future, for our experience, we recommend a balanced participation, about 1/3 conservator, museum, 1/3 industry, 1/3 research institution. We propose 7 years that are 3 plus 4. And 3 plus 4 means that after 3 years you have, for example, materials that should be developed. If are not developed, it's useless to invest in this line because maybe it was the wrong investment, so we have to invest in something else. But if you continue 4 years are guaranteeing the same project, and then you have to go to the market with industry. Call should be also on never explored areas. So this is 5 years, because sometimes in the European call there's areas that are repeated several times after a few years. And this call should be in cooperation with this CCI that I discovered in Tartu, and then it is populated by creative people that are very interesting people to talk to, because they have different ideas, so their way of thinking is from a different framework than our framework. Okay.